Hi folks, and welcome back to this video where we are looking at the sixth factor in the SIMPLE framework, which stands for self-improvement model for political leadership excellence. And today we are going to look at the sixth factor, 6th out of 21, and today we're looking at power. The key question that we're going to address today is how politicians should use power. Well, I'm sure some of you might be already smiling or thinking that, hey, I think we could actually have a number of videos on just this one topic, politicians and power. And because there are so many things to talk about when it comes to power and politics, good, bad, and ugly, and I think you could actually have an entire YouTube channel on just politics and power and politics and power play and all that. It's an extremely relevant, and I think it's a most common topic. The moment you talk about politics, power comes automatically into the conversation. Now, for the sake of our video, our mission, we are going to look at a few aspects on how politicians should use power. Again, just to remind ourselves that this video is just in the context of the SIMPLE framework, the self-improvement model for political leadership excellence, where power is definitely a key aspect, key factor, which helps increase the influence of the political leader. But here we're just looking at how it should be used. Okay, so from my experience, the reasons that you see on your screen now, these 7 reasons are just a guideline that how politicians should use power responsibly, ethically, and with the best interest of the people they serve in mind. So let me share with you these key principles for how politicians should use power. First, accountability. So politicians should be accountable and transparent in their exercise of power. They should be responsive to the needs and concerns of their constituents, respecting their rights and striving to represent their interests. Regular communication, public consultations, say your feedback mechanisms, all of these are important for maintaining this accountability. And I think you're right in thinking that accountability is on the top of the list for a reason, especially when it comes to power. Being accountable is, I think, the topmost priority element when it comes to using power as a politician. Next, integrity and ethics. Now, politicians should uphold high standards of integrity and ethics, and they should act in a manner that is honest, fair, and ethical, both in their personal conduct and in their decision-making processes. Now, avoiding the conflicts of interest, adhering to codes of conduct, and being transparent about financial matters are important aspects of maintaining this public trust. So using power, integrity, ethics, all are very much linked. Third reason, or the third principle, is inclusivity and diversity. Now, politicians, I think, should use their power to promote inclusivity and celebrate the diversity. They should strive to represent and include all segments of society, irrespective of race, gender, religion, or social background. And ensuring equal opportunities, protecting human rights, and addressing systemic inequalities should be fundamental priorities. So that's the key principle around inclusivity and diversity. Fourth principle in relation to power and politics is collaboration and cooperation, where the argument is that the politicians should recognize the importance of collaboration and cooperation, and they should seek to build consensus, work across party lines, and engage with stakeholders to find common ground and achieve collective goals. Building effective coalitions and fostering dialogue can lead to more sustainable and impactful decision making. So, if you start to collaborate and cooperate, and I think there might be an element of actually delegating or decentralizing some of your power as well in the greater benefit of this collaboration and cooperation. Easier said than done, but it works wonders. Then the key principle we have is evidence-based decision making. That how you should use power and what's the relationship with decision making, which is evidence-based. Because politicians should base their decisions on sound evidence, data, and expert advice. They should prioritize rigorous research, expert opinions, and consultations with relevant stakeholders when making policy choices. And relying on evidence helps ensure that decisions are well informed, rational, and have a higher likelihood of achieving the desired outcomes. Okay, so that's all about decision making. What about long-term vision and sustainability? So I think, in my opinion, politicians should adopt a long-term perspective and prioritize sustainable policies and practices. Long-term is the key thing. And if you say, is it beyond the 5-year mandate? I'd actually say yes. They should consider the social, or economic and environmental impacts of the decisions, aiming to create a better future for current and future generations. Now, balancing these short-term needs with long-term sustainability is very, very crucial for a responsible use of power. And finally, we have empathy and compassion, where I think politicians should demonstrate empathy and compassion towards the people they serve. Okay, and they should strive to understand the diverse needs and challenges of their constituents and work towards solutions that promote well-being and social justice. So policies should prioritize the welfare and dignity of individuals and communities. Okay. So in conclusion, I can say that it's important for politicians to remember that power is a means to serve the public and promote the common good. And by using power responsibly and ethically, politicians can contribute to positive change, build trust, and make a meaningful impact on the lives of their constituents. Okay, so that's how I want to wrap up this video on the use of power and politics. Before I leave you there, remember the key takeaway from this chapter is that when you get into power as a politician, you need to remember that you are given the power by those who elected you, right? When you win an election, you do not win power automatically. It seems so, right? That is how it works, it seems. But just think about it, that when you win an election, you are actually given that power. So it's not something that you carry with yourself. You are given that to you by, the people who voted you to power. It's not given because you're entitled to have it. That's another thing. You need to work for it. You need to maintain it, sustain it, continue it. And that's why you need to use it only and only to serve those who gave it to you in the first place. It's theirs. The power is theirs, the community, your people. It's never yours. You have been assigned, you have been given, you have been empowered as a politician to serve them. You are their rep to take decisions on their behalf for their welfare, right, and development. But the power lies with the people. You are maybe an agent of that power. You have an official agency to exercise that power on their behalf, to make important decisions in terms of economy, country policy, so on and so forth, as a politician, whatever you do to lead. But in the end of the day, you need to give it back to them. that's something that I really want you to remember as a key takeaway for this video. Brilliant. So on that note, I'm gonna wrap up this video here today. Thanks a lot again for your patient listening. I shall see you in the next video. Until then, au revoir.